All right, hey, y'all, welcome. I want to wish you all a happy Saturday. I hope that you and your family are doing well. Listen, if you don't know who I am, I'm Andrea from Andrea Speaks TV. I will be live later on tonight. Today is Saturday, September the 3rd. Is that right, y'all? September the 3rd? I think that's right. Hold on just a moment. Yes, I had to make sure that was the correct date. So today is Saturday, September the 3rd. For me, it's been a busy, busy day. I've been running a lot of errands. I've been working outside. And I'm going to be live later on tonight, 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, as a matter of fact, right here on the channel. And I'm going to be talking about the Jackson, Mississippi water crisis and everything that's going on there. All right. Hello to everyone who's watching now live, or if you're watching by replay. Thank you so much. Say hello. Let me know that you're watching, and I'll give you. I'll be sure to shout you out. So, I wanted to come on really quickly. You all know right here on the channel. My channel. I feel like my channel has evolved over this past year since I've started Andrea Speaks TV. Originally my plan was to come on, and share information about. Hi, Mike. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate your support. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I started my channel originally with the idea that I wanted to discuss business topics, education topics, as well as finance topics right on the channel. And I've done that. But, over the past several months, as I've looked at everything that has been happening in the world and things that are going on, I realize that now, my channel has always been about, the need to find out information, see what's going on, so that you and I could both make a plan to protect and provide and prepare, for, to make sure that our family is protected and provided for during these times, right? And, I feel like, especially, over the past several months, I've talked more about current topics that are going on, and how more and more with everything that's going on, whether it's happening right here in the United States, or if it's happening in another part of the world, maybe overseas, there's a more and more, I feel, you all let me know if you feel like this as well. It seems like there's more and more of a need to become self-reliant, self-sufficient, as much as possible. Do you all agree or disagree? We're living in a time where, you know, not to say that there hasn't been food shortages in the past, not to say that that has never happened, but we're living in a time now where you all know I've taken you live with me in these stores, whether it was the local farmers market, Walmart, another type of grocery store, Publix, Sam's Club. I've shown you how, there have been signs limiting what you can purchase, how many of a certain item you can purchase. Maybe you've seen some of those same things in your area. And I'm wondering, are food shortages here to stay? Now, I do know that there are some people who will argue and say, you know what, Andrea, there are no food shortages. The stores have the food. They're just, kind of almost like rationing it, putting out just a little bit at a time so that what they do have, they don't sell out of. You can let me know your thoughts on that as well, whether you think there really are food shortages. But just this past week, I was in the grocery store and I saw a sign that said, this item is out of stock, won't be available until a certain date. And it's been like that now for the past several months. Several different items have been out of stock. More recently, I don't know if you've seen this in your area. I have seen this firsthand, not just read reports about it. But have you all heard about a potato shortage? Have you all heard about a potato shortage? Quite famously, People know that a lot of our potatoes would come from Idaho. And so I'm reading reports that, there hasn't been, how can I say this? I'm reading reports that there hasn't been as great of a yield or harvest of potatoes this year as in previous years. And so because of that reason, and also due to what some people attribute as climate change, we talked about that right here on the channel, they're saying that there is now a potato shortage. Have you all heard about that? Do you believe that to be true? Now, a couple of weeks ago, I actually took a picture of a sign. I don't think I shared it right here on the channel, but I took a picture of a sign at the farmer's market that was saying that there was a shortage of the russet potatoes. So I said, you know what, let me just take a picture, keep this in the back of my mind and see if other areas, other parts of the country are experiencing potato shortages as well. And sure enough, now it is in the news. Okay. There was a comment that came up earlier. I was going to take a moment and read it. Whenever I'm live on YouTube, it's like the comments will show up, but then they'll disappear. Okay. Mike says self-sufficiency has been set aside. Most of these modern, it went away. Most of these modern conveniences were resisted at first. Women hated cake mixes for a long time. Hold on. Let's see. It went away. Right. Are you saying, Mike, that they would just rather make the cake from scratch? Not only just talking about our food shortages here to stay. I'm asking that question. You all let me know your thoughts in the comments. But one thing that it seems like to me is for those people like myself who did not live through the Great Depression. I was not born then. But I'm realizing now, as it seems like in some ways that history is repeating itself, I'm learning, okay, I may have to look back and see, okay, how did people who were alive during those times, the Great Depression, other periods of war, and other events that happened in our country, how did they live and survive during those times? I told you all this story before here on the channel. I mentioned it before, how I grew up watching my mother and grandmother can food. There was a time where I remember growing up where my family had hogs and chickens, and, using the space that we had in the yard, growing our own, some of our own vegetables and fruits. Right. It seems, I do agree with that, Mike. It does seem to be that way, how in a lot of ways it seems like, just being pulled away from nature, the natural order of things. Right. A lot of those people, are not, around anymore. But, even though they may not be around, some of them left behind, they taught those skills, and those skills lasted generations. And I find that to be very valuable, especially in the times that we're living in, whether it's knowing how to sew, knowing how to, fix your own car, change your oil, cooking food. You got to think. I know a lot of people may like using the crock pot. Mike mentioned earlier about, the conveniences. I think that's how you mentioned it. Right. Modern conveniences such as using a crock pot or even a blender. Anything that's electric, any type of something that's electric that you would use to cook food. Like, for example, I think it's called Instapot. You got to think in a grid down situation where there's no electricity, And all this time you've relied on your electronic device to prepare your food for you. How are you now going to cook and you don't have electricity? Wow. Okay, Mike share my grandpa waited in lines every day for a donut during the depression. So, you know, and those were some hard times, and a lot of people were able to sustain and survive through those times. And I just look at it like everything that's going on now, people need to be getting prepared. I look at what's going on with, speaking of, standing in lines. I mentioned on the channel here that the people who are in Jackson, Mississippi, facing the water crisis, they're having to stand in lines just to receive packs of water. And some people, even though they stood in line all that time, they're walking away empty handed. I don't know if it's because they ran out of water. I'm not exactly sure what was going on, but with everything going on tonight, as a matter of fact, tonight when I go live at 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'm talking about what happened in Jackson, Mississippi, and how it needs to be a wake-up call for all of us. I'm pretty sure that, last month or months ago, a year ago, none of the people who live in Jackson, Mississippi ever thought that they would be facing the water crisis that they're facing now. And, I pray for them, that they're able to get the things that they need. And I'm also going to cover this on tonight's live, but I feel like our current president, instead of addressing the people in Philadelphia, talking about what he termed as MAGA supporters, I feel like he could have made better use of his time and his choice of words. And if he was going to make a public speech, I feel like he should have been in Jackson, Mississippi, talking about how he was going to help the people there. But I'm not going to talk about that too much right now because I'm going to save that for the live. But I want you to think about what are you seeing in your area? Let me know in the comments. Are you seeing any food shortages in your area? I told you all about the signs that I just recently saw this past week about items being out of stock. I haven't seen any limits. The only thing that I can say probably I see a limit on now is baby formula shortage, and that's just because I happen to pass by the aisle. By the way, I do see that President Biden is still announcing the operation. I think the latest one was like the 21st Operation Fly Formula. Still don't quite understand that and how we even got to that point of having a baby formula shortage. But are you all seeing food shortages in your area? In the area that I am in and also other areas that I visit, I do see shortages. Now, I don't know if those shortages are because there's actually no food available to purchase, like the store is actually out of stock, or I don't know if it's because of continued labor shortages. I don't know if they're restocking the shelves as they should. So what I would tell you is, as a solution to, help not necessarily fight food shortages, but, because a lot of things you and I just is simply out of our control. But I would say that as a way to prepare for the possibility of more food shortages, I would say as much as possible, get the food, get food items that you're going to eat, that you feel like you want to add to your emergency food supply, and as well as your daily food, the food that you eat daily. I would say get it now while it's available. I've said this before in another live, but I said, today's prices may not be tomorrow's prices. So if anything, if you get it today versus waiting next week or next month, who knows, you may be paying a higher price. Okay. Mike shared, groceries seem stocked. Frozen fruit seem to be low frequently. I have seen that. And let's see what it went away. Let me see what the last one was. Okay, groceries seem stocked. Frozen fruits seem to be low frequently. I worry a bit about prescriptions. Yep. I'm going to do, there was another one of my subscribers, supporters who mentioned the fact that we need to be getting, if you have like prescription meds or over the counter medications that, there could very well be a shortage or there has been a shortage on those. I can't say that I've really noticed that because I don't go too much when I'm in the stores. I don't go too much in the over the counter medicine area. I don't take any prescription drugs, so I don't really, I wouldn't necessarily have the firsthand knowledge if there was a shortage on that or not. But for many people, that is something that, you need to take into consideration. So I'll try to go by next time I'm in the store. I'll try to go by and check that area and see how it is, how it's looking in my particular area. Okay. But what I would say is, as much as possible, you want to get your non-perishables, food items that that if the power did go out, you wouldn't have to worry about spoiling. Myself, I am in the process of getting everything together to do my canning. Of course, I've been buying jars. I've had jars since maybe last year sometime. Y'all, speaking of canning, do you know that the price that I paid last year for the mason jars? I have the different sizes. I have some that are pint. I have some quart, half gallon, pint and a half. The prices today it seemed like are almost double what I paid a year ago. That's for the ball mason jars, the canning jars. Just unbelievable. So that's what I'm saying, y'all. Today's prices may not be tomorrow's prices. So while these things are available, as much as you can, as your budget allows, these are things that you may want to get and add to your emergency food supply, long-term, short-term food storage. So, there's always options of, or here I'm talking about solutions now. You want to think about possibly canning food. Do your research on all the things that I'm sharing. These are just suggestions. Building up your emergency food supply. You all know that I have my site. I've been actually ordering more and more things. Preparewithandrea.com. Once you go to the site, you'll see my logo from Andrea Speaks TV. And then if you just click the, you'll see at the top, you'll see a logo that says My Patriot Supply. If you click that, you can see the other products that are there as well. Emergency food supply, and as well as survival needs. So also, you all know right here on the channel, I talk about growing your own food. I have a home garden myself. I've been outside working in the garden. I have some vegetables that I actually need to harvest. And so I'll be outside tomorrow again doing that. But so growing your own food, buying canned goods, or either canning your own vegetables, meats, whatever it is you choose to can, beans, water. Okay, I keep talking about this, y'all. I've talked about water for quite some time now. Please don't forget to add water to your emergency food storage. Again, we see what's happening in Jackson, Mississippi. I'll check that. I'm not sure. I think I did see some type of resealable lids, but I do know that when I did buy my jars last year, I bought a lot of lids. And there was one time where it was hard to find the lids. The wide mouth lids are what I got. But I do think they make resealable lids. I'm not sure if they're for canning though. But I'll check on that. So thank you for sharing that. But again, I'm asking the question, are food shortages here to stay? Is this something that we're going to have to get used to? I did a video a couple of months ago where I talked about food rationing and how during World War I think particularly World War II, that was the reality here in the United States. And I'm not trying to scare you. I'm just trying to get you to see, hey, just looking at what's going on, a lot of things that happened back then, you know, hard times, difficult times, some of it is kind of similar to what we're seeing today that's going on. And, you know, while many things may be out of our control, what we can control is if our families are prepared with the things that we need. Am I making sense, y'all? Do y'all agree? Are y'all preparing? Um, Make sure you have water in your emergency, water supply in your, as a part of your emergency plan, your survival plan. Make sure you have water. Make sure you have water. I've talked about growing food, canning food. Others, if you all are watching and you have an idea, maybe something I haven't thought of or didn't share, please put it in the comments as well. So I want to ask the question, are food shortages here to stay? What do y'all think about that? Some people, again, like I said, some people may say, Andrea, there are no food shortages. They have the food. Some people have even told me, and I've wondered about this, some people have even said that farmers are being paid to destroy their crops. Can y'all believe that? Speaking of farmers, our farmers, y'all, I've watched several videos, I've read news articles. Our farmers are really, I know we're all going through it, right? I'm not trying to say that it's easy for any of us right now, but our farmers, our American farmers, even farmers across the seas, right? After last night, after the speech on, what was it, Thursday? It's just, I don't know. It seemed like, he upset a lot of people, but, and I didn't even watch the full speech. I was actually, driving, I was listening to it, but, President Biden's speech was very concerning. I thought I was going to do a video about it. I was planning to come on live after he gave the speech, but, it was a school night and everything. So I had to see about my daughter first, of course. And, but his speech was just very concerning. It seemed like a lot of the things that he talked about that he accused the other, party of doing, seemed like, a lot of people would say that, no, it seemed like you and your group are the one who are doing what you're saying shouldn't be done. But we'll save that for another video, another topic. But I'm telling y'all, nothing that he said made me feel hopeful, like, wow, he's doing the right thing or things are going to get better under his administration. I know a lot of people are, happy about the student loan forgiveness, but more should be done. What about people who didn't go to college, couldn't afford to go to college, and what kind of relief or benefit are they going to get? I don't know. And I would want to tell my people that, we can, people can be happy about the 10,000 or 20,000 student loan forgiveness. I'm sure that it's going to help a lot of people. But the student loan forgiveness is not reparations. We are still waiting to receive reparations. So let's not, forget that. I'm going to talk about that more in my video tonight when I talk about Jackson, Mississippi, and how it seems like, the very people. I know one thing that stood out to me. Well, you know what? I'll save it for tonight's live video because it ties into what's going on there. But yeah, I'll save it for tonight's video. Okay. All right, y'all. Do y'all have any questions or comments? Yep. And speaking of the thing, right? The thing in the arms, it seems like they're really, really pushing that more and more. And it's very concerning. Very concerning. Dr. Fauci, I plan to do videos talking about him and him saying that he's going to retire or something like that. But my question about that is, why are you leaving now? More and more people, I think that he's starting to feel the fire of more and more people saying, hey, more and more people such as Senator Rand Paul. Do you know who Senator Rand Paul is? If not, please go and look him up. Senator Rand Paul. He's out of Kentucky, but he has been questioning. I've watched these videos months ago, but he has been questioning and holding Dr. Fauci to the fire about the whole NIH and the gain of function research and all of that. There's a lot of questions, and so as he's feeling more and more pressure, as far as his participation or accountability or responsibility regarding all of this that has happened since March 2020 and maybe even before that, now all of a sudden he wants to leave and he's starting to feel more and more pressure. So that's kind of one of those topics where I've kind of put to the side and I'm still doing some research, but best believe I will be talking about that. But y'all, again, I'm asking you, are food shortages here to stay? I'm the type of person, I feel like I'm a very positive person. But when you look at what's going on, when you look at a lot of the things that are being told to us that we know don't make sense, don't seem to be true, it does not indicate, at least to me now, I could be wrong, let me know. Well, I won't say that I could be wrong because this is my opinion. It does not seem like things are going to get better as a whole for our country. And also the fact that, important elections are coming up for state governors and even, the next presidential election. With all these elections that are coming up, y'all, it seems like a lot of things are going to get better for our country as a whole. Okay, it might for some, right? For those of us who, have been prepping and preparing, we're going to be all right. But for our country as a whole, it just looked like, especially with the winter coming, it just seemed like there are some challenging times ahead. But that's why I keep saying, y'all, make sure that you do as much as you can to get prepared today. Get the things that you need. Mike said, we may not have seen the full force of what is coming. Next is in the much worse danger with the food. That's what I'm saying. And speaking of food, y'all, I don't know if you all saw this, but Chick-fil-A recently announced that I think there was a mix-up or some kind of mistake through their supplier where their grilled chicken and grilled chicken nuggets, there was some type of allergen that was put in there. What's happening with our food, y'all? We're talking about food shortages, but can we talk a minute about what is actually happening to our food? I did a video on that where I talked about, at the time they were saying that there was like E. coli linked to this, and now you got all of this other. I think Whole Foods, I got an email from them about a mix-up with their salad dressings and something about an allergen being put in there, and they apologize. But what's going on, y'all? Is it the fact that they're so busy? There's not enough attention being, not so busy, but because they're, is it because, I've asked this question before too on the live, but are these businesses, why are all these mistakes happening? Is it because there are so few workers, and because there are less workers, what they're saying is the labor shortage, that they're just working so fast and there's not the same amount of quality control or attention that's normally put towards these things? Is that why so many mistakes are being made? Y'all, Capri Sun, there was a Capri Sun recall. Did y'all hear about that? There was a Capri Sun recall, and it was said that there may have been cleaning solution mixed in Capri Sun. Do y'all not know how many children drink Capri Sun? Children and adults. How is that happening? I've said this before right here on the channel, Mike. Next year, I'm going to say it again. Based on my research, Less food is being grown today in the growing season. Less food is being grown today to be harvested tomorrow. So, y'all, we don't know what 2023 is going to look like. Let me show y'all something really quickly. You know what? I may not even have it, but seeds. We need to be buying seeds. You need to be buying seeds. For those who grow their own food, there are reports of seed shortages coming up. And even if it's something that the stores may not be able to have, if you're able to grow it at home on your own, then you're already ahead of the game. I have a Ziploc bag full of seeds. I was going to get up and show it to you, but I think it's across. I think it might be a good little ways from me, but seeds. We need to be getting seeds. You know what? I went in Lowe's. Speaking of seeds, this was kind of crazy. I went in Lowe's recently, and I know that they're redoing the store. It's now September, and they were in the process of like putting up their Halloween decor. And right where, like kind of right where they would normally have seeds, it wasn't even there. There were no seeds. And it was because they were, moving things around, and they were putting up their Halloween displays. And do you know, when I asked the people, I asked several customer service representatives, where were the seeds? No one could tell me where the seeds were. I don't know if they packed it all up and shipped it away. I don't know if it was somewhere on the other side of the store. I don't know if they took it to the back because they had all the Halloween stuff that they had to put there. Excuse me, y'all. Excuse me. I don't know what happened, but nobody could tell me where the seeds were. Nobody. Right. I have a book. I actually ordered the book. I think it's called Seed to Seed. And it has a lot of information about seed saving. And so I'm still doing my research on that. It's not something that you just sit down and you just read. It's not really, I won't say it's a hard read, but it's one of those things where like you have to read a little bit and come back to it. But it's called Seed to Seed. It actually talks about seed saving for different types of seeds. I have seeds that I bought from like 2 years ago. I have seeds in mylar bags, and then some of the vegetables that I'm able to harvest this year, I do plan on saving seeds. Like, let me show y'all this. I went outside today in the garden. I told y'all I've been outside. And do y'all know what this is? It's a little small one. Do y'all know what this is? I actually have another one. See this one? Do y'all know what this is? I grew these from seed. Do y'all know what these are? I gotta clean them up and of course peel them, and I probably dice them up, maybe roast them. Do y'all know what these are? They grow much bigger than this, but this is one that I actually pulled today. Anybody can take a guess what these are? Okay, Mike said they look familiar. Butternut squash. These are butternut squash. So these are some that I grew from seed. And it does look like an onion, I guess, maybe shaped, but it's actually a butternut squash. If you can see it, butternut squash. Sometimes they're much, much bigger. This is a butternut squash. So, I need to go ahead and do something with that one now, because you can see it's quite, it's almost kind of look like maybe it's getting to be too ripe. It's kind of similar similar to, I want to say, just like a regular squash seed. And I grew those from seed. Actually, I had some heirloom seeds. Yeah, very similar to that. Yep, you're right. So, from the things that I'm pulling from my garden, the not things, but vegetables that I'm harvesting from the garden, I do plan on saving the seeds because, hey, I know it came from a vegetable that was able to survive, um, you know, and grow, and I was able to harvest it. So I definitely want to save those seeds from that. Um, there are many different ways you could do your research on that. Who knows, I may record a video about saving seeds. But I have seeds in bags that I bought a year or two ago, from last year. Um, and like I said, the seeds from vegetables that I am going to harvest, I plan on saving those seeds as well. Okay. All right, y'all. So I'm going to go ahead and end the live. I got to cook dinner. I got to have all that ready before I come back at 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time tonight. If you are up during that time and it's not too late, feel free to join me right here on the channel. I'll be live again at 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tonight's topic, I'm talking about the water crisis in Jackson, Mississippi, and why what's going on in Jackson, Mississippi should be a wake-up call for you and I. Okay? All right. Thank you all so much for your support of the channel. Help me help the channel to grow, y'all. Tell a family member, tell a friend about the channel. I have over 200. This may be my 257th video. I've been working, y'all, trying to bring you the information and commentary and news you can use. So again, thank you all so much for supporting the channel. Like this video, share this video. If you're watching and you haven't subscribed to the channel, I want to invite you to subscribe. That way you can stay informed, connected. Join our community right here. We're like-minded individuals in many ways who we're concerned about the times that we're living in. We're seeking truth and transparency. We're looking for solutions so that we can sustain and thrive and protect and provide for our families. All right. Thank y'all so much. And I appreciate each and every one of you all. Take care. And I'll see you again right here on the channel. Y'all take care.